Whatever you are doing during the day is changing your brain. Your neurogenesis and rewiring of the brain is happening all day long, regardless of what you're doing. So if you do good things, if you focus, if you concentrate, if you learn, if you read, if you study, if you practice, then your brain is wiring yourself in a certain way. If you binge watch Netflix, your brain is wiring itself in a certain way. So whatever you are doing is changing your brain. So the more good habits, the more good rituals that you can create. We learned this weekend, I think the term is rituals, not necessarily routines, which I really like because it's more intentional. We can literally rewire the way our brains work at any time of our lives, regardless of our history, regardless of our past, regardless of the things that have happened to us, regardless of our current health status. You can always improve and change and grow.
We always have that power, and you transform your brain, you transform your life.
Imagine what is possible if you read a biography every day for 20 minutes of all of the greatest people in history and what your life would look like in a year versus if you spent 20 minutes mindlessly scrolling through cat videos, which can be hilarious from time to time. But how would your life look in a year if you adopted that simple practice of learning from the masters for 20 minutes a day? You wouldn't recognize yourself.
Because little things done consistently are added to big things.
Absolutely.
Consistency compounds.
Yeah. If you sleep better, for example, you're going to be able to eat better because sleep regulates leptin and ghrelin, two hormones that control your appetite and how full you feel. Then if you eat healthier because you're able to make better decisions because you slept well, you're gonna have more energy. If you have more energy, you're gonna be able to exercise. If you exercise, you're gonna be able to sleep better. And all of that is the foundation for being able to be mentally healthy in this era where 20% of our population has depression, anxiety, and other mental health challenges. I actually think we radically need a new approach to how we're doing things.
And I know our community can really appreciate this message. So this is about it's about synergy, it's about momentum. I mean, is that what the ripple effect is?
100%. And when you get this momentum, when you start making little micro wins on a daily basis, 1% gains, which is 15 minutes of your day, that's 20 calories, 15 minutes more sleep. Everything exponentially gets better in your life, and it enables you to do things you were never imagined you could do before. Like if you sleep well, when you sleep is when you encode information from the day. That's when you learn in the first 4.5 hours of sleep, the first 3 sleep cycles when you're in deep sleep. That's when the neurons grow. That's when new connections are made between neurons inside the brain. When you eat properly, when you have healthy foods, fresh, I believe in organic, as real as you can, no processed foods, minimal sugars. When you eat that way, your brain actually creates the neurotransmitters that help you to concentrate and to focus. When you exercise, you activate the centers of your brain that you use to learn, to be creative, to problem solve. We now know that walking leads to creativity. Walking in nature improves problem solving. One single exercise, about 20 minutes, improves mental function for 15 hours. Like, why are we not starting every single school day with kids getting physically active? Imagine what we could do. And then all of those things compound to help us prevent, treat, reduce mental health challenges, mild mental health challenges like depression and anxiety. More severe mental health challenges like personality disorders and schizophrenia require a very different approach, but for the mild to moderate mental health issues, this is how we have to approach it.
Okay, so let's break this down and deconstruct this. So how many elements are here?
4. Eat, sleep, move, think.
And then where would people start? Kwik Brain really is about those things. It's about cognitive performance, which this conversation is all about, because this is what controls everything. It's about being quick, because people are so busy nowadays.
Totally.
They want things in bite size, and then also practical. So, and I know you as a practitioner, you want to where the rubber meets the road. For those 4 areas, where can someone start? What do you recommend?
I truly believe that sleep is the foundation for everything.
Okay.
So first and foremost, I want people to think about sleeping, and I think the single fastest hack to improve sleeping is defend your last hour. Please, 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 for 1 hour before you go to sleep at night, create a sleep routine that enables you to downshift, to relax, get away from your devices, calm down, take a hot bath, meditate. The hot bath, cold shower combo is awesome for triggering the release of melatonin. Start with sleep, defend your last hour.
I love that. Wait, let's walk through your last hour of the day. So, because everyone has we talk a lot about morning routines, the first hour of your day. So, what's the last hour of your day look like?
3 components when I do this right. The first one is hot bath, cold shower. because I want to relax. I want to get into an environment where I'm not tempted to look at my phone because I'll electrocute myself. And the hot bath enables you to relax, and the cold shower decreases your body temperature, triggers the release of
Now, do you put
melatonin.
anything in your bath?
Epsom salts,
Okay.
absolutely. Especially if I've worked out, I do a lot of.
And the magnesium
Epsom
is
salts.
good for.
Absolutely, magnesium is great for helping you to sleep. I also had my blood work done, comprehensive blood work. I found out that I was low in magnesium, so it's actually one of the mechanisms through which I increase my magnesium intake.
And it's good absorption transdermally, like
Yeah,
through
and
your
you know what's
skin.
amazing is a lot of people don't realize we actually can absorb and release a huge amount of toxic of minerals and vitamins and like you move an enormous amount of material through your skin. It's a huge organ.
It's interesting. How long is it a certain amount of time in a bath?
I like about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And so if the 10 minutes followed by the cool shower to cool you
what
off,
does that
stop
do?
sweating. The decrease in body temperature triggers the release of melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that controls sleep-wake cycles. So naturally increasing melatonin production, I think, is a really good strategy for people.
Okay, so you have your hot bath with the Epsom salt, you take a cold shower
Yeah.
for the contrast, and then after that?
Meditation, 20
Really?
minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I love to
Everyone has a
decompress.
different process for meditation.
Yeah, I'm really straightforward. I just use Headspace. It's really easy. They've got a sleep pack that I've got 30 episodes. I'm working way through that. I do it over and over and over again. In the morning, I have a different routine, but at night, the Headspace pack is easy to do. If I'm traveling, and I'm learning and becoming better at it, that I don't really need it anymore. But that's how I started. And I find that clearing my thoughts, letting go of the day, stopping ruminating thinking, stopping replaying what was going on, creating a barrier between the day and when I want to fall asleep. Meditation
It helps you
me do that.
to transition in those brainwave states from beta to those slower
100%.
brainwave
Yeah,
states.
you want to go from beta waves down to alpha waves, which is sort of reflection and contemplation, and then you let that go and you end up down into, ideally, obviously when you're sleeping, delta waves, and then ultimately into deep delta waves. So that's the goal.
Amazing. Now, do you happen when you're doing your meditation to fall asleep from there? Is that your
You know, it's really weird. Not very often for
Okay.
some reason. I think that I'm trying now through focusing on breath, through focusing on releasing tension from all the different parts of my body. Really activating. You can basically feel your vagus nerve come online, right? And you can feel your parasympathetic system take over once you release all of that. That's the scientist overthinking meditation in their sleep routine, but of course you want to try to let that go. But no, I don't have trouble falling asleep when I'm meditating. The next thing I do is I read fiction.
Okay.
And whenever I read fiction, then it's either a minute and I'm asleep, or it's about 20 minutes and I'm asleep. But that's the next step. Nothing industry related. I don't like reading anything that's a learning opportunity at
Right.
that point in time. I like to read something that creates almost like a dream state in my brain, which then makes it very easy to fall asleep quickly and deeply.